Logitech's G915 keyboard has been a popular low-profile choice for many years now that can double as both a great gaming and daily use board. The G915 TKL loses some of those extra keys that you find on the full-size LightSync, like the number pad and dedicated macro keys, but it does free up another almost 4 inches of desk space, giving you a more compact and cheaper option while also still holding on to those handy media controls and volume roller, making use of those rubber buttons at the top of the board, which can be easily pressed with a quick response. This is all set on top of a nice brushed aluminum top plate, with the bottom being plastic but also steel reinforced, making for an overall impressively sturdy board with just how stinking thin it actually is overall, not having much flex even when putting a decent amount of pressure on it. The bottom of the board has 6 rubber feet, which have kept it stable and firmly in place on my desk pad right next to the top right and left rubber foot. You also do get 2 flip out legs, which offer 2 different levels of incline adjustment, which I found myself using it in basically all the time, as the board, when it's laying just without those legs out, has a naturally very flat angle with them not being extended out. You also do have the option of storing the dongle down here on the bottom of the board when you're not using it. You get 3 forms of connectivity, with the first 2 being wireless with the option of that light speed connection, which promises 1 millisecond response in conjunction with that included dongle. And that's so far for me been really reliable and spot on as far as that connection goes, and that's with multiple dongles plugged to my PC as well. You also get the option of Bluetooth, which can be easily switched over to by just tapping that rubber button at the top of the board, and then it can be connected to any device that's going to support Bluetooth keyboard. You have the switch on the back of the keyboard, which allows you to either turn it on or off. When it is off, it can be plugged in via that micro USB port on the back left of the keyboard to charge it. Fortunately, you don't have to charge it very often though, as it does have a pretty great battery life, which Logitech markets as 40 hours, but from my testing personally, and what I've heard others say, it seems to be even possibly a little bit longer than that, and that's while also having that RGB at max brightness. This is aided by the keyboard's ability to also dim itself to 50% brightness after just 1 minute of idle, and then also after 5 minutes, it will turn itself completely off, but it does come back really quickly. All you do is you type a key or hit a key, and it comes up right without a break, actually registering that key that you press to wake it up too, which is cool. And if you're ever worried about the keyboard dying on you mid-match, you can also set it to start breathing red, the color, when your battery reaches that 15% level or lower. The keycaps are one of the weakest parts of the board, just being made out of a smoother plastic that doesn't have much grip on it in the first place, but they also sadly pick up a lot of finger oils, which can really easily be seen, and it's just annoying because it makes the board look more dirty than it actually is. They are very low profile keycaps as well, making it a bit harder to find replacements for them, as you'll have to make sure they actually have that same profile and design. You do get 3 switch choices though when getting the board, and either their GL clicky, tactile, or linear option, with all of them being the same as far as those stats and numbers go, but either feeling or sounding different when in actual use. The board I have today is using those low profile red linear switches, which I have to say so far have felt really good for me, offering what you'd expect out of a linear switch while also having a fairly quiet sound profile, which is appreciated. The stabilizers are also impressively well done for just the size of the board itself being so thin, although they do have some wobble and rattle present. The software gives you a lot of options when it comes to actually customizing that RGB with different effects, colors, and the option to adjust each individual key also if you did want. You do have the option of adjusting the RGB brightness on the fly, of course, on the board itself, with that button in the top left also. The software also allows for key assignment changes and macros if that's your jam. The G915 TKL normally sits around $175, but right now it's at $130, which I think is a much more compelling price, as it just has a lot to offer in a more unique format of that low profile, while also striking the nice balance of being able to go between that gaming board and just a daily productivity option while not feeling hindered by what the board has to offer. So if you are a fan of low profile keyboards and want both productivity and gaming gaming board that can also switch between Bluetooth and the hyperspeed connection, I think this is definitely worth it. But if you just primarily want a gaming board, then I think it might be worth looking elsewhere, especially at the price point the TKL G915 does sit at. One of the next big things that are going to be considered though is going to be, is it worth it over the Razer Deathstalker, which you can check out on the video on the screen now.